So Enugu State is officially a state that should enjoy the 13% derivative that every single state that produces oil enjoys. So when the officers of RAMFAC came to visit Enugu State and they saw the governor, the caption that I saw was the governor Mba tax federal government on 13% derivative. And at some point I was like, wait, is Enugu State an oil producing state? Or is that something that I don't know? Do you know, I went back to check and I asked a few persons, and they said actually that from way back in 2022 that there was a report that came out, because before any state is designated, a state that produces oil, there's a process that there's some departments, MDAs, and government parastatals that would come and verify, release their reports, and then get back to the state. And that report was done, in fact, as far back as December 2022. And that Enugu State was supposed to have started enjoying, its 13% derivative from that time up until now. That Anambra 1, Anambra River 1, Anambra River 2, and Anambra River 3. That Enugu State, it's like, Enugu and Anambra share the same share boundary, and that particular 3 wells is actually in Enugu State, and that Enugu State is actually supposed to be enjoying 13% derivative as one of the states that produces oil in Nigeria. I was stunned. I was like, geez, more monies for Enugu State, man. 13% derivative is huge, and the governor was really tactical, and he was able to slit that through when they came in, and they said, look, guys, please, as much as possible, it is your office that actually disburses these monies. Can Enugu State be added to the list of states that produces oil, not just the list of states that produces oil, but gains from the monies that are given to states that produces oil, just like they do for Delta, Akwa Ibom, Rivers, and the likes. So we're looking forward to that ratification done. I thank God that beyond party lines, Peter Mba is very close to Tinubu, beyond party lines. I mean, you could tell that they are good friends. They've known each other for years, even before politics. And so you could tell that Tinubu might go ahead and give the approval. But I'm hoping that they don't politicize it. We've seen how politics can go in this country. Who knows? They might tell him, okay, we will give you the 13% derivative. We will add your state to the list. But if you don't join APC, we won't give it to you. It's possible. Because what has happened under Buhari in 2022, why didn't they put Enugu State in that list? That's the truth. Why didn't they put Enugu State in that list as far back as that time? And now this is 2025. Since 2022 up until now, Enugu has not received a dime from the 13% derivative. Who knows that they can play politics with it? They'll say, okay, guy, if you must enjoy this 13% derivative that we're paying, jump over to APC. That's the only way we'll start paying you the 13% derivative. This is Nigeria. And they will do it and even dangle it in your face. Nothing you could do. So, and sometimes when you see some of these governors taking decisions, you'll be wondering, why are they taking this kind of decision? It's things like this. At the end of the day, the money comes to the state anyways. So that like he joins a party doesn't make any difference. Like, a party is just a vehicle. It's not like when you join APC, you now automatically turn to become a witch, or you did not automatically turn to become a Buddhist or something that's an alien, But I'm just saying, like, these are the things that governors see at that level, and when they take decisions, we start shouting, why is it going to APC? Just like what happened to Delta State. Well, some people will say Delta is a peculiar case. There was nothing on the offing. They already enjoyed that 30% derivative. it's the PDP states. Labour Party came and swept presidential election in that state. Koko came from there. So there's it might be peculiar, yeah, but again, I'm telling you, these are how shrewd our politics can be sometimes. But I give it to the governor, for mentioning that, for stating that. So hopefully, in due course, we would see a situation where Enugu State will start enjoying the 13% derivative. Tell me what you think, though. I would love to hear from you as always.
I would like to warmly, on behalf of the government and the people of Enugu State, welcome you and members of your delegation to Enugu. And you have already taken the wind off my sail when you talk about Enugu being hospitable and welcoming. It's indeed in our nature. Enugu, as you may already know, is one of the most cosmopolitan states. It's a melting pot for several ethnic groups. So we welcome you to this historic city. And your visit is equally coming at a very auspicious time when we are observing quite remarkable reforms in our, in our revenue formula in the country. And given the importance and the significance of the Revenue Mobilization Fiscal Allocation Commission, the importance of your office, because yours not just inspires confidence between the federal government and other tiers of government, but it's also a body that pays attention. And actually, when we talk about putting a premium to accountability, we actually make reference to RAMFAC, because you are all about accountability. And I understand it is in line with that mandate that you have also come here to at least determine things for yourself. Firstly, to establish the allocations to the state and local government, and to be sure that they are in line with the indices as provided. I'd also like to just point out that this philosophy aligns very well with our own governance philosophy. One of the first things we did, in fact, the first thing I did after swearing in, the first executive order that I signed, few hours, and I think about an hour after swearing in, I came in here. That first executive order is the Citizens Charter. And the Citizens Charter speaks to our accountability, how we must be accountable to the people. And being accountable to the people is not a choice, it's an imperative of governance. So the Citizens Charter is our commitment to ensure that we report to the people on a regular basis all the revenues we're getting from all the sources, whether it's from the Federation account or from our domestic revenue. We have a duty to report that and to also capture them accurately. So we did not spare any time to institute measures, deploy technology to ensure that we plug all the leakages in mobilizing and collection of our revenue. And so we must also then show the people how those funds are spent, and which also speaks to making sure that there is also value for money, that we're prudent in the way and manner we spend the people's money. So it's all about spending the people's money in the interest of the people. And that's an area we believe that your office, the commission, and the values that you espouse and what it's in our own governance philosophy align. So we are also happy to report that since we assumed office, we've been able to mobilize our domestic revenue, and we've been able to grow that more than 400%. And it's our hope that your indices also would be updated to reflect that much growth in our domestic revenue, and to be able to reflect that. We hope to actually surpass that. The budget we have for our revenue this year, our internally generated revenue this year, is over 500 billion. And from the indications, what we're seeing, we're going to surpass that projection. But it's also not just about getting this money, because we know that we cannot also grow our economy at the expense of our common humanity. So a lot of the allocation too are also dedicated to addressing the challenges we have in our social services, and which is why, as you must have noticed, where our development model is all inclusive, making sure we get down to the grassroots. So which is why we are building the smart green schools across the 260 electoral wards in Enugu. We're also doing the type 2 primary health care, again in the 260 electoral wards. We have a program that we have just initiated working with the local government. It's called the Farm Estate, where we ring fence 200 hectares in each ward, provide them machineries, tractors, implements, inputs, and also ensure that the location is ring fenced and access controlled. So the objective is to scale up our production. And in effect, we're also having the special agro processing zone, which would help us play in the value chain. So we're not just producing and exporting raw, but we're also able to process it. The other thing you would find out here in Enugu State is we respect and understand the principle of the different tiers of government, and that the local government, as recognized by our constitution, is another tier of government, and we ensure that whatever allocation that is meant for the local government gets 100% to the local government. In fact, if anything, we give them more money to support them, because there are areas we know that it may be too much for them to handle. We step in as states to intervene and support them, but it's not the other way around. And that also speaks to the premium we pay to transparency and accountability. And so I want to again welcome you. There are a couple of other things perhaps we may have to discuss outside here. You know that we still have this pending matter which your office is handling, the issue of Enugu State being recognized as an oil-producing state, which your office actually communicated to us sometime in December 2022, that the state, following the report of the interagency technical committee, and I think the bodies that were involved as the interagency committee, we had the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, we have the National Boundary Commission, we also have the Office of the Surveyor General of the Federation, and of course your commission. And they came up with a recommendation that Enugu should be benefiting from the 13% derivation of the Anambra River 1, Anambra River 2, and Anambra River 3. And as yet, we have still not yet, benefited from those fields and those wells. So it is our hope that your office will put the necessary machineries in motion to ensure that we begin to benefit from that. And we're happy to, if there are other things required from us to do or documents to provide, we're more than happy to do so. But we cannot thank you enough. I would urge you not to only work while you're in Enugu, also try and take out time to savor the experience of Enugu, this hospitable experience. And again, our culinary delights, you must make sure you eat abacha and oba, so that you can talk about it. Thank you very much, and once more, welcome to you.